After age 50, your body's iron needs shift, especially for women, making it crucial to understand how diet, absorption, and even inflammation can affect your energy and overall health. In this video, I'm sharing why your iron requirements change, what signs to watch for, and how the right foods and habits can help you maintain optimal iron levels as you age. Don't let outdated advice leave you fatigued. It's time you learn how to keep your body strong and energized in your 50s and beyond. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite. You can get chapter 12 of my book, it's Tricky Toxins chapter, for free. Just comment Tricky Toxins or go to drgayla.com/links. And on this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom free, so that you can put an end to common midlife symptoms like chronic fatigue, insomnia, mood swings, issues with gut health, and even weight gain. So, mature women, particularly after 50, start finding that iron deficiency is a challenge that they may be facing. They may be seeing symptoms that can overlap with the symptoms of menopause or perimenopause or even just general aging. So it can be really confusing, and this leads to undiagnosed iron deficiency. Iron deficiency can really significantly impact energy levels, cognitive function, and overall quality of life if it's left unaddressed. So, this fatigue or weakness might also be accompanied by pale or even yellowish skin. So, sometimes yellowish skin could be thought to be a problem with the liver, but maybe it's really just an iron deficiency. You might find that you've got shortness of breath, maybe even are getting dizzy or getting headaches regularly. These are among the most common symptoms that women over 40 experience if they have low iron levels. Additional signs can also include brittle nails, hair loss, inflammation, or soreness of the tongue, cold hands and feet. That's common. So, as you can see, some of these issues are also common to thyroid dysfunction. And so, it's quite possible that if your thyroid levels look normal or close to normal, then you may actually have an issue with iron deficiency, and that might bring your thyroid right back to life. You might also find that you have unusual cravings for non-food substances like ice or dirt. I definitely don't crave dirt, but I love my ice. So I've probably had low iron levels since I was barely able to stand on my own 2 feet because I apparently have been chewing ice since I was a toddler. So I don't really think that's the problem in this particular instance. But as you can see, there is a lot of symptoms here that correlate to iron deficiency, and it's hard to really connect the dots. It's important to note that vitamin B12 deficiency can also create similar symptoms like this fatigue or pale or yellow skin, cognitive difficulties, even nerve issues like numbness or tingling in the hands and feet. And it often coexists with iron deficiency, making it really essential to check for both deficiencies when you're seeing any of these sorts of symptoms. In a 2023 article in the National Library of Medicine, iron deficiency anemia was reported to be the most common cause of anemia worldwide and is characterized by abnormalities in red blood cells. The condition typically results from inadequate iron intake or chronic blood loss. Unlikely that you've got a chronic blood loss unless you're a female and you've had really heavy periods repeatedly. But if you've got something that would point to an iron deficiency, you may have increased iron requirements. And this might require you even to supplement with some sort of substance, essentially. If you're not willing to eat beef liver, like I'm not willing to eat beef liver, but I have to really work on keeping my iron levels up, then I take supplements, and we'll talk about that more in a moment. In a 2024 article on WebMD, vitamin B12 deficiency was reported to be really common in older adults due to declining stomach acid. So, this is kind of interesting because I talk about this a lot, that many people have digestive issues and they assume it's because they've got too much stomach acid, but it's actually not enough stomach acid. And when you don't have enough stomach acid, then the valve essentially that closes on your stomach, the acid is what triggers that, and your valve doesn't close properly. This can lead to all sorts of issues like heartburn and that sort of thing. But it also impairs the absorption of the vitamins from your food. So, symptoms of this type of deficiency really mimic normal aging, including memory loss and cognitive decline. We've talked about some of these other symptoms as well, but it even includes neurological disorders like Alzheimer's. To prevent or treat deficiencies, adults over 60 are advised to get regular blood tests. And that is definitely going to be important, but you're going to have to make sure that your doctor orders all the appropriate tests. You want to have your vitamin D levels checked. You want to have your B12 levels checked. You want to have your ferritin checked. And so all of these are extra blood tests that are not commonly ordered in a regular just CBC panel. So getting your doctor to get the additional information can be a bit of an arm wrestling match. So you want to make sure that you are reporting the symptoms that correlate to this so that they have the information they need to justify spending the additional money and ordering the extra tests. I have a full video on anemia where I go into more detail, so be sure to check that out. You can search my channel for anemia and it should pop right up. But now that you understand how recognizing the subtle and not so subtle signs of iron deficiency is crucial for women as we age, especially once we reach 50 or so, let's explore how your everyday food choices and eating habits can directly influence your body's ability to absorb and maintain healthy iron levels. The body's ability to absorb iron depends on the type of iron in the diet and the presence of certain foods that help or hinder absorption. So, understanding which foods enhance or block iron absorption can make a significant difference in maintaining healthy iron levels, especially for those at a risk of deficiency. So, if you are consuming animal products, which I really suggest that you do, meat, poultry, fish, this is absorbed more efficiently than non-heme, is what it's referred to, iron from plant sources, beans, nuts, leafy greens. So it's really challenging if you're eating a plant-based diet to keep these levels up, and it almost requires that you supplement or do what I refer to as diet enhancement supplementation. You can eat vitamin C rich foods like citrus fruits or bell peppers with iron rich meals, and those boost this non-heme iron absorption. Tea, coffee, dairy, eggs, and some grains actually make absorption more challenging. So that is something to take note of. If you're a big coffee drinker, if you're still consuming dairy, which I don't suggest you do, or even eat a lot of eggs or grains, then that may be limiting your body's ability to be able to absorb the iron from your diet. If you are really wanting to try to get these nutrients from your plant-based diet, then make sure you're preparing your plant-based iron sources by cooking and pairing them with vitamin C. Animal protein is better, but obviously if you're just eating a plant-based diet, that's probably not going to be likely for you. So really enhance them with vitamin C, and that will help. In a 2022 article in PubMed, details about how iron bioavailability is influenced by the form of iron. We've talked about this heme versus non-heme, and the animal sources are definitely absorbed more efficiently, but it is possible to use ascorbic acid, vitamin C, to help the iron absorption, to assist essentially the iron absorption when you're focused on a plant-based diet. Some of the things that inhibit include polyphenols and calcium. And so, this is a catch 22 if you're trying to keep your iron levels up and you're trying to, make sure that your bones are staying strong. If you're taking additional calcium, supplementing with calcium, then this could be something that's actually making it harder for your body to absorb iron. So, this is one of the reasons why I really don't recommend supplementing long term. You supplement when you know you've got a deficiency in the short term, just to sort of jumpstart your body's ability to rebalance things. But then you want your body to get these nutrients from the food you're consuming. I'll share a few more practical tips for supporting healthy iron levels in just a moment, but it's important to realize that changes in iron absorption really can create symptoms that are often mistaken for the natural effects of aging or menopause. This is an example of one of the countless ways stress creates symptoms and other health issues, especially during midlife. I created a video that shows you how to eliminate symptoms naturally, so I'll make sure to link to it below this video. But make sure you hit subscribe too, because I share a lot of tips when it comes to dealing with stress that's become toxic. Relieving the nasty symptoms stress creates makes navigating through midlife a breeze. And also, I want to remind you, you can get Chapter 12, the Tricky Toxins chapter of my book, What's Your Kryptonite, for free. Just comment Tricky Toxins or go to drgala.com/links. Now let's continue with a few practical strategies to manage and prevent iron deficiency, especially if you're a woman and you're, getting close to or over 50. Addressing iron deficiency isn't just about what you eat. It's about taking a comprehensive approach that includes the right foods, smart supplementation, if that's what's required for you, and paying attention to any underlying health issues that could be affecting your iron levels. So, effective management and prevention of iron deficiency really requires attention to diet. And if you are eating a plant based diet, if you don't eat a lot of red meat, then supplementation may be required. I do take a really high quality liver or organ supplement that is really clean, it's grass fed animals and really high quality. And I take that on a fairly regular basis. I rotate it and use different supplements to kind of mix things up in my body. But as I mentioned, it's really hard for me to keep my levels up just through regular absorption. And you may find that you have a similar sort of issue, especially if you've got any sort of digestive issues. A comprehensive approach involves not only increasing iron intake through food and supplements, but also identifying and treating the root causes of deficiency, like absorption problems and that sort of thing, to prevent recurrence and really support overall health. So, if you have incorporated iron rich foods like red meat, poultry, seafood, even beans and lentils, dark leafy greens, those sorts of things into your regular meals, and you're still dealing with some of the symptoms I've talked about here, then iron supplements may be used when the diet just isn't cutting it. These supplements tend to be most effective when taken on an empty stomach or with vitamin C, because sometimes they can cause digestive discomfort. I will say that the way I supplement is basically as a nutrient enhancement or diet enhancement. So when we're consuming these sorts of supplements, we actually take them with food because we want them to essentially enhance the meal we're consuming. If you are experiencing some of the symptoms that we've talked about here, it's really common that these develop gradually. And so the problem with gradual development is that it's really hard to connect the dots and put two and two together. That's why sometimes it's just best to get a blood test and check your levels so that you know where the deficiencies are. Blood levels can change fairly regularly depending on what's been going on with your body in just the recent days, even leading up to the blood test. But generally speaking, it's a good just snapshot of what's going on inside your body. The good news is that the deficiency can be managed, and many of these symptoms will just retreat once your levels are restored and your blood is really nutrient dense and nourishing your body the way it's supposed to. And if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. Just remember, you can get Chapter 12, the Tricky Toxins chapter of my book, What's Your Kryptonite, for free. Just comment Tricky Toxins or go to drgala.com/links. And lastly, in my next video, I'll show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.